The next step that was ideated then is the so-called comunas. So if we've got in one area, we might have, like, for example, it would be all buildings with flats, and we have here a community council, and then other 3 or 4 community councils in the buildings around. Then we might build a comuna with several community councils to have even bigger projects. Because if we decide, for example, that, okay, we have here like 30 community councils in the 6 buildings, and we would like to set up like a smaller baseball court or a cinema or a little hospital. That's something we can't do with 1 community council and 300 families, for example. So we need a bigger area, and this is the comuna. The decisions are still taken from below in the community councils assemblies that send spokespeople. They send spokespeople to this higher level of the comunas. And the next level would be the so-called communal city. It doesn't have to be a city. It can be in a rural area or just a part of a city or whatever, but it means that the territory is totally organized in comunas and community councils and can make even bigger projects and think about them. It might be in some rural regions, for example, an electricity plant. That is something you can't plan with, even with 2 comunas or 1 comuna. If you're 10,000 people, you won't just plan a big or middle-sized electricity plant. But if you're a communal city, maybe, like with 50, 60,000 people, you could even plan these bigger projects. What exists officially until now, and there we're already entering the contradictions, is the community councils. They are promoted by different government institutions, by social organizations, etc., and are officially recognized. The comunas are so-called under construction. The Ministry of Comunas says they are like helping more than 200 comunas under construction. The Frente Nacional Campesino Ezequiel Zamora, the peasants organization, is constructing about 100 comunas at the moment. Then you've got a lot of smaller organizations that are all in construction of comunas. The law for the comunas was just passed last year in December. And officially no comuna exists. They're just in process of construction. But there are already many comunas that say we exist and we work as a comuna. We don't care if the ministry says we don't officially exist or we're still under construction because we already work as a comuna. But there we are with the contradictions, because if the comuna gets somebody assigned from the ministry and he has to take care of the construction process of the comuna, well, he must fear that if he says the comuna is ready, they don't need any more support because they're working already, he might lose his job. So if I'm promoting and helping a comuna, I will always tell, no, they're not ready. So I keep my job. Same thing, the comuna, where takes the Ministry of Comunas its power from? Well, from having as much as possible comunas they're helping. If with every comuna they declare that doesn't need any more support, they lose power and finance. So we've got these contradictions. Same thing with the communal city. There is no law still, and officially no communal city, but there are already like about 3 or 4 regions in Venezuela that declared themselves communal cities and already planned as communal cities. So we've got these, you can see these contradictions between the constituent and the constituent power. But like I said, it's not necessarily bad if it keeps space open for a productive and constructive conflict. And I can make an example about the workers' control. Workers' control has been promoted and co-management in Venezuela since 2006. At the beginning it was an idea promoted by Chavez and small parts of the government and just small workers' groups. Most didn't really have an interest into co-management or workers' control. But since then, time has gone by, many conflicts were on the ground, and nowadays you've got a strong movement in favor of workers' control in Venezuela. It's not something that is just by some parts of the government. That meant also that the conflicts grew with the institutions, because usually the institutions are like giving workshops and teaching the workers about co-management, workers' control, political history, etc. But the moment the workers then want to take over or want to take part in the direction of their enterprise or institution or whatever, then they try to stop them because it's like, okay, I'm losing control. Or if I'm in charge and this enterprise works, well, I won't just give the workers the control, because if then it doesn't work, it will be my fault. So I better control it. You know, that's the usual idea, you know, how it works. But like, for example, the people from Alcasa Aluminium Hut in Bolivar, they just wrote me a mail a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and told me, no, we are now at the moment at the most conflicted situation we ever had in years and decades. We're also at the most highest point of class struggle. So it's great. And that's an example, for example, of this aluminium hut. It's part of the basic industries. It's 17 factories of the government in basic industries in Venezuela. And they have to go through a transformation, because quite a few of them have obsolete machines. They're not really effective. But while the government tries to pressure the transformation, different branches of the government, of the regional government, the administration of the factories, and even most of the unions in the factories didn't have no interest in a transformation, because they are earning money off the situation right now. They have their shares with the deals with the transnational companies. They sell illegally aluminium or steel, etc. So if you have a transformation and the workers' control or co-management, all this wouldn't be possible anymore. So what happened? Like, Chavez and the central government was pushing for years for a transformation, and nothing happened. In the end, in September 2009, Chavez called and organized a workshop, a weekend workshop with 300 workers out of the different collectives in these 17 factories in favor of workers' control. They organized with Chavez and some ministers a weekend workshop about how to transform the whole basic industries. We're discussing in work groups for the whole weekend and set up some guiding lines for a transformation of the industries. Part of it was also workers' control, but also many other things, and the clear declaration that the workers' control shouldn't be decreed just from above, but growing from below. Out of that, mixed commissions of the government and the workers made up the so-called Plan Guayana Socialista 2011-2019. That was supposed to be the guiding plan, the guidelines for the transformation of the whole sector. And then nothing happened. So after a while, in May last year, Chavez talked to these different workers' control collectives of the 300 workers that had participated in the workshop, and just told them, you know, elect among your people who's going to be the next president of the factory. And in May last year, he appointed 17 workers chosen by the workers' control collectives as presidents of the 17 factories of the basic industries in Guyana. What didn't solve the problem, but it started even more problems, because now they've got to fight with the old bureaucracy, with the regional administration, etc., about the transformation. But that's why the people from Alcasa wrote me, we're at the most conflictive point we ever had in the factory, but also at the highest expression of class struggle here. So this is just to show you also a bit, because if you look from outside, sometimes the so central and important role of Chavez might seem disturbing, because it's also very contradictory, because it's very much depending on one person. But it's also but he's also the guarantee for the movement and for the people that they don't just get kicked out of this transformation process, because you still have in Venezuela in the parties, like many people with the traditional party thought, that the party always knows better than the people what the people really need. So that's why Chavez's figure is so important, because he is the one bringing back in the movements always. So I won't be talking more. I've been talking just already too much. I think we should just look some excerpts of the Comuna film. It's 94 minutes, so we can't see the whole film, but we're going to see some small parts of it, so you get an idea how these things in the communities work. And then I make some comments, and then we just open up for discussion and debate. Thank you very much.